Hello everybody and welcome back to Operation Logistics, where we're actually getting pretty close to getting our roads done. Finally. That's taken some time. We do have we have several issues actually, but we have one major issue right now, and that is, I have noticed, if I can get to our sub-hexes here, I have noticed that anytime we are coming in from below and to an angle, we always have the wrong angle. Every time. So first things first, let's go ahead and find where below is. So if we are here... Okay, so let's see. We are doing corners here, not sharp corners. And then we need to figure out where exactly this is. So right here, road equals road corner. So if our Z position is greater than, then we do this. And I'm wondering if we need an else here. And then an else there. So this would be an else if. Because I'm thinking right now... I mean, this should never both be true, but just to be a bit safe. Let's run that there and see how that fares. As soon as it compiles. I want to know if that breaks anything even more. This is a new session. Okay, so we still have that issue going on. But overall... it does break it more, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and... No, that was my Steam library. There we go. Close that out. Don't need that open right now. So let's go ahead and redelete that else, and let's figure out where exactly this is. So if previous position.z is greater than our z position, then we do this. And then down here, we're saying it would be 60 or 120. So if previous position.z is greater than and next position.z is less than, then we do this. Otherwise, if we're coming in straight. So this works here, but this isn't working. And I'm wondering if it's because we need... Okay, I'm just thinking right now. I'm wondering if it's because we need this to be doubled and inverted? I'm not sure. Let's think about what exactly is happening here. Okay, so what is the angle it is putting it at when it's coming in from both sides? That's the question I have right now. So when we are coming in from below and coming in here, okay, so this sharp corner is here, then sharp corner is here. In both cases, as well as here coming in from the top. That's interesting. It appears to be at 0. I'm not 100% if that's 0, but I think that's vector 3.0. Yes, that is vector 3.0. And what it should be, interesting that we have a little bit of a hiccup there in our seam, but that's okay. We can deal with that later. What it should be is a y of negative 120, which would be what, 240? Yeah. So this one should be 240. Okay, so if that one is supposed to be 240, are we assigning 240 anywhere? We are right here. So, if approximately equal previous position and our position, or next position and our position, so if we are coming in this way... Oh, I see. Okay, I think I see what the problem here is. Where is this else connected to? This else is connected to here. So this goes down to here and closes. And this, well, this connects up to where? Where exactly does this bracket close? If square distance is less than or equal to 0.01 f. So it's to right here. So if our square distance is equal... Okay, so we're missing an entire section here. Now, it does bear noting that this here is a sharp corner, and we're not actually rotating sharp corners that I know of yet. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, this is a sharp corner here, and we'd need to determine the rotation there. So, as far as... I minimized Unity. So as far as this corner here goes, we are coming in from the bottom and going out here. This is a sharp corner, as is this. But this one, we're coming in from the bottom and going out this direction. So, let's see, let's just go through and determine what is true here. So, clearly, the square distance is less than or equal to 0.001 f, because it's outputting a corner. So we know that's true. So, if the previous position and the next position are greater than our current position on the z-axis, so on the z-axis, let's grab this guy here, and on the z-axis would be this axis here. So, if previous position and next position are greater, right? No, and next position. Are we in world handles? Yes, we are. Okay. So if our z position on this direction are both greater, then we know it's either this way or this way. But we also know it's a sharp corner, right? Because that's an and. Well, not necessarily. It can be going this way. And in fact, because we know that it's a regular corner, we know for a fact it's going this way, which is why we set it to 180 degrees, which currently it's at 60 degrees. So if I set this back to 0, you can see 180 degrees would in fact be correct for going this direction. So what we actually need it to be at is, instead of 60, we need it to be at 300 degrees, I think? No. We need to be at 240. Yeah, we need to be right here. So, we know that this position is equal to our x position, the top position. So we know we're going out of the x. So if approximately equal, here, this is true. So we know this is true, so we are inside of here. So if previous position.x is less than our x position, or next position is less than our x position, so if we're going this direction, that's not true. So we completely skip this if, and we go into this else. So else, if previous position.z is less than subhexes, I think this is our issue here. We need this to be greater than our subhexes. Because this was defaulting to 300, right? No, this was at 60, I think. It was that way. So why would it be there? Well, if previous position.x is less than subhexes i.transform.position.x, or next position.x is less than subhexes.i.position.x, if previous position.z is less than, or next position.z is less than. But yeah, we clearly need to be... Well, if previous position.z is less than... Yeah, this should be greater than, I think... No, that's still correct. Because 240 degrees would be... Z down is this way. So 240... Actually, yeah, that's... So we're up here, and then Z is greater than. We go to 240. Otherwise, we go to 300. That's not correct. We would go to... just, 120? Yeah. So if Z is less than, we would go to 120, theoretically. Although position.x is less than... Okay, so we know previous position.x is less than up here. So let's just go through these and let's grab Unity here. Let's go through these and check our angles here. So we know we're straight up or straight down. And then we're checking to see if our x position is less than for either of them. So if we are over on this side, and then our z position, if we're less than, so we know that we're going out one of these directions, and we know that our other one is over here, and specifically, we know that it's down here. So we know that we're coming here, which means that we have to be going what direction? Well, we already know a few things. If previous position... Okay, let's... I'm confusing myself here. Let's just start at the beginning. I need to get back in the swing of things. Like I said, this is a new programming session here. So previous position.z is greater than here. If this is greater than, then we know that we are doing this. Why? The previous position.z is greater than subhexes i.transform.position.z, and next position.z is greater than subhexes i.transform.position.z. So if they are both over on this side, then we know that we have to be doing what? Well, actually, it's z. So we know, because it's on the z-axis, we know they're both on this side, one of these three. And if that's the case, the only option is here. And then we will say else, just to be clear, rot equals vector3.0. Now, I didn't do this before because it defaults to 0. However, we can go ahead and do that, and then we could... I mean, I can't really break here, but we know at that point that it's set up for this and this. Okay, so if approximately equal the x positions of one side, so we know that it's either here or here, then we check to see if previous position.x is less than or next position.x is less than. So less than on the x-axis is on this side, so we know we're coming in here or here, so we know our exit is either here or here. Okay, and then if previous position.z or next position.z is less than, so that's probably our issue right there. So we know, for example, we're coming in from this side or this side. We know that. Or we're exiting. One of these two tiles is in play. We also know that our next position, or that one of them is over here, which means that we're going either from here to here or from here to here. And actually, we do know which it is, because... Or do we? We don't actually know which it is. Because we're doing 60 degrees, which is, let's see, 60 degrees is this direction. So that's from the bottom to here. And then the other one would be 120 degrees, which would be from here to here. Those are correct, but I don't think we're actually determining if our position, which direction our top position is, right? If we're coming in from the top or the bottom. I don't think we actually determine that here. So if previous position.z is less than subhexes i.transform.position.z. So if we are down here, however, that'll also return true if this tile is in play. That's the problem. So I think what we need to do is we need to refactor this if statement a little bit. So in order to do that, we need to determine if we need to determine which of our positions here is in play. So let's go ahead and do that, and we will say something along the lines of bool. How do I want to do this? Vertical is previous, I guess we'll say. And so at this point, we'll go ahead and rerun this check, if approximately equal. So if our previous position is the one that is vertical, vertical is previous equals true, else vertical is previous equals false. Okay, so that's now being set. We now know which one is vertical. So instead of doing it this way, we can say we know that the previous position.x is less than subhexes. We know which one is vertical here. So we can go ahead and get rid of this theoretically. So if the position.x is less than, we know that we are over on this side. So we know it's one of these two. And now we just need to know if vertical is previous, then we need to say, so if the previous one is previous position is vertical, what does that actually tell us? That actually doesn't tell us anything. So I think let's go ahead and say bool, let's rename this to be bool entering from top. Okay, that'll be a little bit better here. So if our previous position.x, if this is true, however, we also need to know, so if our previous position.x is the one that is in question, and previous position.z is greater than subhexes I dot transform dot position dot z. If that is true, then we know that we are entering from the top. Because if we increase our z, you can see that goes up. So if our z position is higher, and then we need to go ahead and also run the check. And I need another parenthesis here. Yeah, I know there's a problem. Let's see here. If two closing. Yeah, we need two opening then. I think. Hang on. No, this is fine. This is fine. So we need an or statement now. And so let's say if the previous position meets this criteria, or if the next position meets this criteria. So I'm going to copy this and just put in next position. Like so. Then we know that we are entering from the top. I'm going to, just for clarity's sake, add some curly braces here. There we go. So now we know that we're entering from the top. Or rather, we know if we're entering from the top or not. So if our position that is on the same X position as us is also above us, then this is true. Otherwise, this is false. So we know here that we are working on this side. So if entering from top, our position needs to be 60 degrees, because actually it needs to be 120 degrees, because we know we're up here and we know we're exiting down here. So we need to make this be 120 degrees, and this one would then be 60 degrees, right? Because we know we're entering from the bottom. Yes, that is correct. Okay. So now we need to do it for the other side. And it's going to be the same thing here. So if entering from top, we know that we are at this point on this side. So we know that our rotation is supposed to be, if we're entering from the top, 240. So if entering from top, we're 240. Otherwise, we need to be 300. Is that correct? Yes, because we're entering from bottom. Okay. So there's that. I don't think we're done here, but there's that. Let's go ahead and regenerate this and see how it runs. And let's find ourselves another error. I guarantee you there's more. Yeah. So, looking at this, we did not solve the problem that we set out to solve, but we solved one problem. So let's go ahead and pop over here. And I want to be in the sub-subhexes. There we go. And we can see here that when we are entering from the bottom like this, it's now working. And theoretically it will be when we're entering from the top as well. You can see it's also the same thing right here. We're not rotating road sharp corners yet, but you can also see when entering from the side, it's still incorrect. So, with that being the case, hang on, this output 120 degrees, we have a vertical one here, so it should be correct. We are entering from top, we know this, and we are coming out down here. So x is greater than, so we are over here. If entering from top, 240, else 300. So for some reason, we're not entering this area over here, because it's 120 degrees. So if previous position.x or next position.x, I wonder. Okay, let's create another quick variable here. Let's do a vector3 not entering position. Okay, so the not entering position would be something along the lines of, how do I want to do this? Let's say, because we need to know if previous position or next position is the approximately equal one. So let's say, let's get rid of this for right now. And then we will go ahead and I need a closing parenthesis there. And then say not entering position equals next position. Okay. And then let's redo this. There we go. And let's copy all of this. Oh my, this is getting nasty. Paste that here. Okay. This is not exactly what I was looking for. But let's go ahead and move that on over. There we go. So, previous position is our position coming from the top. Whereas down here, if this is true, next position is our position coming from the top. And I'm going to move this curly brace on over. There we go. And this one will need to be previous position, because that is the position we're actually interested in. So instead of running this OR check here and checking both of them, let's just check not entering position. Possibly unassigned. Yeah. It's actually not unassigned, but, you know, we'll make it be vector 3.0 for now. Okay. So if not entering position, now we shouldn't be thrown off by any potential issues, theoretically, with floating point numbers. Let's see if that works. It may or may not. I'm not sure. Actually, that looks great. That has sharp corners, but the non-sharp corners look great. Same thing there. I think it worked. Yep, that definitely worked. Fantastic. Okay, so all we need to do now is sharp corners. However, I think that is something that we can do in the next episode. See you all then.